My wife planned to cheat with my daughter's help, so I took everything and left without goodbye. The kitchen timer chimed insistently as Evan Morton checked the oven's temperature one final time. Steam escaped as he opened the door, carrying the rich aroma of herbs and roasted garlic throughout the kitchen. His movements were precise, each action calculated and purposeful, traits that had served him well in both his professional and personal life for the past 20 years. Through the kitchen window, late afternoon sunlight painted golden streaks across the granite countertops, where fresh vegetables lay in neat rows, ready for chopping. It was Thursday, and Thursday meant family dinner. No phones, no distractions, just the three of them sharing a meal and conversation. At least, that's how it had always been. "Dad," Megan's voice carried from the living room. "Is it okay if I spread my calculus homework out on the dining table? The coffee table's too small." Evan smiled as he adjusted the temperature on the oven. "Just make sure to clear everything before dinner, honey. How's it coming along?" "This integration stuff is killing me," Megan groaned. "Mrs. Peterson assigned like 50 problems, and they're all different." "We can look at them after dinner if you want," Evan offered, beginning to slice through a red bell pepper with practiced efficiency. The knife made a satisfying thunk against the cutting board as he worked. "Really? That'd be awesome." There was a pause, followed by the sound of textbooks being shifted. "Hey, where's Mom? Shouldn't she be home by now?" Evan's knife hesitated mid-cut. Lisa was usually home by 5:30, but the digital clock on the microwave already showed 5:47. He reached for his phone, but there were no messages. "She probably got caught up at work," he said, trying to keep his voice casual. "You know how those client meetings can run long?" But something felt off. Lisa had been different lately, distracted, distant. Small changes that might have gone unnoticed individually had begun to form a pattern he couldn't quite ignore. The way she'd stopped sharing stories about her day, how she'd taken to checking her phone more frequently during their evening talks, the new clothes she'd bought last month, styles different from her usual choices. The sound of a car door closing outside drew his attention. Through the kitchen window, he watched Lisa walk up the driveway. She wore the navy blue pencil skirt he'd always liked, but something about her appearance seemed more deliberate than usual. Her makeup looked freshly touched up, something she rarely bothered with after a full day at the office. "I'm home," Lisa called out as she entered through the garage door. She paused in the kitchen entryway, her hand lingering on the door frame. "Something smells amazing." "Herb-crusted chicken," Evan replied, studying her face. "Everything okay?" "You're home later than usual." "Oh, you know how it is." Lisa waved her hand dismissively, but her eyes didn't quite meet his. Traffic was terrible. "I'm going to head up and change before dinner." "Mom," Megan appeared in the doorway, calculus textbook in hand. "Can you help me decide what to wear to Emily's party on Saturday? I was thinking about that new dress we saw at the mall." "Let me get changed first, sweetie." Lisa's smile seemed to brighten as she turned to their daughter. "Give me 15 minutes. Evan watched as Lisa disappeared upstairs, her heels clicking against the hardwood steps. The sound echoed through the house, each step seeming to amplify the unease growing in his chest. He turned back to his vegetables, trying to focus on the familiar routine of preparation. "Dad." Megan's voice was closer now. She'd moved to sit at the kitchen island, her calculus forgotten. "Is everything okay with you and Mom?" The question caught him off guard. Had she noticed too? "Everything's fine," he said, perhaps too quickly. "Why do you ask?" Megan shrugged, tracing patterns on the granite with her finger. "I don't know. Things just feel different lately. Mom's been acting weird, and you get this look sometimes, like you're worried about something." Before Evan could respond, a sound of Lisa's footsteps announced her return. He turned to see her entering the kitchen, and his unease deepened. Instead of her usual comfortable clothes for a night at home, she wore the blue dress she typically saved for special occasions. Her hair had been freshly styled, and she'd reapplied her makeup. "Lisa." Evan set down his knife. "I thought you were changing into something comfortable." "This is comfortable," she replied, but her fingers fidgeted with her wedding ring, a tell she'd had since the day he placed it on her finger. "I just felt like dressing up a bit." "Is that a crime?" "No crime," Evan said carefully, "just unexpected." The tension in the kitchen grew thick enough to cut with the knife still sitting on the cutting board. Megan looked between her parents, then quietly gathered her textbooks. "I'll clear the table," she mumbled, making a hasty retreat. Lisa moved around the kitchen, pulling plates from the cabinet with slightly trembling hands. The ceramic clinked as she set them down with less than her usual grace. "Do you need help with anything?" she asked, her voice too bright, too forced. "I've got it under control." Evan returned to his vegetables, but his movements had lost their earlier precision. "You seem nervous about something." "Nervous? Don't be silly." But Lisa's laugh held a brittle edge. I think we should have a family discussion over dinner. Nothing to worry about." The word sent a chill down Evan's spine. In 20 years of marriage, nothing good had ever followed the phrase family discussion. He finished preparing the vegetables in silence, hyper-aware of Lisa's presence behind him as she set the table with far more care than their usual weeknight dinner required. When everything was ready, they took their usual places, Evan at the head of the table, Lisa to his right, Megan to his left. The only sound for the first few minutes was the quiet clink of silverware against plates, and Megan's attempt at normal dinner conversation. "Mrs. Harrison gave us this impossible physics problem today," she was saying, gesturing with her fork. "But I figured it out before anyone else in class. She said my solution was really creative." "That's my girl," Evan managed to smile, reaching for his water glass. "You've always had a knack for seeing things differently. Remember that science fair project last year? The way you approached the experimental design was, 'I want an open marriage.'" The word sliced through the air like a blade, severing the conversation as cleanly as a guillotine. Evan's water glass froze halfway to his mouth. Megan's fork clattered against her plate, the sound unnaturally loud in the sudden silence. In the background, the refrigerator hummed its steady drone, now seeming to mock the chaos that had erupted at the dinner table. "What?" Evan's voice emerged barely above a whisper. He set his glass down with exaggerated care, afraid his trembling hands might betray him. Lisa sat straighter in her chair, her chest rising and falling rapidly. A flush had crept up her neck, but her eyes held a determination he'd never seen before. "I've been thinking about this for a while," she continued, words tumbling out as if she'd rehearsed them. I need to feel something new, something different." Her eyes flickered to Megan, then back to Evan. "It might even help our relationship." "Help our—" Evan pushed his chair back from the table, the legs scraping harshly against the hardwood floor. The sound made Megan flinch, but he barely noticed. "Are you listening to yourself? How could sleeping with other people possibly help our marriage?" "It's not just about sex," Lisa insisted, her words coming faster now, more desperate. "It's about feeling alive again, about rediscovering who I am outside of being just a wife and mother. I feel like I've lost myself somewhere along the way, like I'm just going through the motions day after day." "Just a wife and mother?" Evan's voice rose slightly, the control he prided himself on beginning to crack. "Is that what the last 20 years have been to you? Just some role you've been playing? Some prison sentence you've been serving?" Megan's wide eyes darted between her parents, her face growing paler by the second. "Maybe I should go upstairs," she began, starting to rise from her chair. "No, stay," Lisa said quickly, reaching out to catch their daughter's arm. "You're old enough to understand this. Marriage is complicated, and sometimes adults need to make adjustments to keep things fresh, to stay happy. This doesn't mean I don't love your father or that our family is any less important to me. Don't drag our daughter into this," Evan warned, his hands clenching into fists under the table. "This isn't something she needs to be involved in." "She's not a child anymore," Lisa argued, her grip on Megan's arm tightening slightly. "And this affects her too. I'm not talking about ending our marriage, Evan. I'm talking about opening it up to new possibilities, about growing and evolving as people while staying committed to our family." "New possibilities," Evan repeated, his voice flat and cold. "Like what? Like who? Or should I say, who do you already have in mind?" Lisa's cheeks flushed darker, and she finally released Megan's arm to fidget with her wedding ring again. She looked down at her plate, pushing a piece of chicken around with her fork. There's someone," she admitted quietly. "His name is Derek. I met him at that charity event last month." The charity event. The memory hit Evan like a physical blow. He'd missed it because of an emergency client meeting, a crucial deal that needed his personal attention. He'd felt guilty about letting Lisa go alone, had even brought home her favorite flowers the next day to make up for it. Now he wondered if those flowers had sat in their vase while his wife flirted with another man. "You've been planning this," he said, the realization spreading through him like ice water in his veins. "All this time you've been—" "Nothing's happened," Lisa cut in quickly, her head snapping up. "I wouldn't do that. That's why I'm talking to you about it now. Derek and we've just talked, but there's something there, Evan, a connection I haven't felt in years. He understands me in a way that—" She trailed off, seeming to realize her words were making things worse. "A connection," Evan spat the word out like it was poison. "And what about our connection? What about the vows we made, forsaking all others? Do you remember that part, or has your new friend Derek helped you forget?" "Mom." Megan's voice was small, uncertain, her eyes bright with unshed tears. Is this really what you want?" Lisa reached across the table, taking Megan's hand. "Honey, sometimes we need to take risks to grow, to be happy. Your father and I will always be your parents, but our relationship might need to evolve to become something different, something that works better for who we are now." "Evolve." Evan stood up so abruptly his chair tipped over backward, crashing to the floor. The sound made both Lisa and Megan jump. This isn't an evolution, Lisa. This is destruction. You're talking about destroying everything we've built. 20 years of marriage, 17 years of raising our daughter together. You want to throw all of that away for some connection you felt with a stranger just one night? Lisa pleaded, standing up as well, her hands gripping the edge of the table so hard her knuckles turned white. One night to see if this is what I need, to see if it can help us both understand what's missing, what's broken. Missing? Evan's laugh was harsh. Broken? The only thing missing is your loyalty, your respect for our marriage, for our family. Dad, please. Megan stood up too, her face pale but determined. Maybe if you just listen to what Mom's trying to say. Listen? Evan turned to his daughter, seeing for the first time how she positioned herself slightly closer to Lisa's side of the table. The betrayal hit him anew, sharper this time. You're taking her side in this? I'm not taking sides, Megan protested, but her body language told a different story. She moved closer to Lisa, unconsciously creating a united front against him. I just want everyone to be happy. Happy, Evan repeated, the word tasting like ashes in his mouth. He looked at his daughter, his little girl who used to run to him first with every problem, every triumph, now standing closer to the woman who wanted to destroy their family. And you think this will make everyone happy? Your mother sleeping with another man? Don't be crude, Lisa snapped, wrapping an arm around Megan's shoulders. This isn't about sex, it's about freedom, about personal growth. It's about betrayal, Evan cut her off, his voice dropping to a dangerous quiet. Pure and simple. And you've gotten our daughter to help you with it. Tell me, Megan, have you already been covering for your mother, helping her arrange things with Derek? Megan's silence and averted eyes told him everything he needed to know. The pain in his chest intensified, becoming almost unbearable. Fine, he said finally, each word precisely measured. You want your freedom? Take it. One night with Derek. See if it gives you everything you're missing here, Lisa. But understand this, he continued, cutting off Lisa's response. Whatever happens, whatever you decide to do, this moment right here, right now, this is the moment you killed our marriage. And you made our daughter an accomplice to its death. Dad, don't say that, Megan pleaded, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. Please, we can talk about this. We can figure it out together. Evan looked at his daughter, and for the first time in her life, he felt nothing but coldness toward her. You've made your choice too, Megan. Remember that. He turned and walked out of the dining room, leaving his overturned chair on the floor behind him. He could hear Megan's muffled sobs and Lisa's attempts at comfort, but he didn't look back. His feet carried him to his home office, where he closed and locked the door. Sitting at his desk, Evan stared at the family photo that had sat there for years, the three of them at the beach last summer, all smiles and sunburned noses. The happiness in that image now seemed like a cruel joke. With deliberate movements, he opened his bottom drawer and dropped the frame inside, closing it with a final-sounding thud. Over the next few days, the house became a battlefield of silent tensions and avoided glances. Evan watched as his wife and daughter whispered together in corners, their conversations stopping abruptly whenever he entered a room. He saw the text messages Megan helped Lisa compose, caught glimpses of his daughter playing lookout while Lisa made phone calls in the garden. Each betrayal was noted, catalogued, filed away in the growing coldness of his heart. That night, Lisa announced her date with Derek would be that Friday. Evan simply nodded and continued eating his dinner. He didn't miss the concerned look Megan shot her mother, or the way Lisa's confident smile faltered slightly at his lack of reaction. It'll just be dinner, Lisa said, as if that made it better. I'll be home by midnight. Of course you will, Evan replied, his voice devoid of emotion. Wouldn't want to turn into a pumpkin. Dad, Megan started, but Evan cut her off with a look that made her shrink back in her chair. I'm sure your mother will have a wonderful time, he said, standing up from the table. After all, she has such a supportive daughter to help her prepare. He left them sitting there, their dinners half-eaten, their faces showing the first hints of doubt about what they'd set in motion. But it was too late for doubt now, far too late. In his office, Evan pulled out the papers he'd been preparing. Everything was in order, bank accounts, asset transfers, the preliminary divorce filing. All it would take was one phone call to his lawyer to set it all in motion. He looked at his phone, at the message from Megan that had arrived earlier. Mom's really excited about Friday. I think this could be good for everyone. With slow, deliberate movements, he deleted the message. Then he deleted every picture of Megan from his phone, every saved text conversation, every trace of the daughter who had chosen to help destroy his marriage. The sun set outside his window, casting long shadows across his desk. In the gathering darkness, Evan sat very still, listening to the sounds of his wife and daughter's excited chatter floating up from downstairs as they planned for Friday night. He thought about the 20 years he'd given to his marriage, the 17 years he'd devoted to raising his daughter. He thought about trust and betrayal, about love and loyalty. And in the gathering darkness of his office, something inside him hardened into stone. The next morning, Evan maintained his routine with mechanical precision. He rose early, dressed for work in his usual crisp suit, and headed downstairs before Lisa or Megan awakened. The kitchen still bore evidence of last night's dinner, dishes left unwashed, his overturned chair still lying on the floor. He righted the chair. He heard footsteps on the stairs. Megan appeared in the doorway, already dressed for school, her face showing signs of a sleepless night. "Dad," her voice was hesitant, "can we talk?" "I have an early meeting," Evan replied, not looking at her as he gathered his briefcase. "Please, just for a minute." Megan stepped closer, wringing her hands, a gesture so like her mother's that it made his jaw clench. "What you said last night about me choosing sides, that's not what this is." Evan finally turned to face her. "No? Then tell me, Megan, how long have you been helping your mother arrange this? How many times have you covered for her phone calls with Derek?" Megan's silence was answer enough. "That's what I thought," he said. He moved toward the door, then paused. "You know what the worst part is? I taught you about loyalty, about integrity, about how trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to repair. I guess those lessons didn't stick." "Mom's unhappy," Megan blurted out. "Can't you see that? She's been unhappy for a long time, and she's trying to find a way to fix things. By destroying our family?" Evan laughed, the sound harsh and unfamiliar. "By being honest? At least she's telling you the truth instead of going behind your back." "The truth?" Evan shook his head. "You mean like how she's been planning this for weeks? Like how my own daughter has been conspiring with her?" He shook his head again. "Don't talk to me about truth, Megan. You've proven you wouldn't recognize it if it slapped you in the face." He left her standing in the kitchen, tears streaming down her face. The sight, which would have once broken his heart, now barely registered through the ice forming around it. At work, Evan threw himself into his tasks with savage intensity. His secretary, noting his mood, redirected all non-essential calls. He worked through lunch, focusing on financial documents and legal paperwork that had nothing to do with the ones waiting in his desk drawer at home. His phone buzzed several times throughout the day, messages from Lisa and Megan that he didn't bother to read. Let them worry. Let them wonder about the silence. They'd learn soon enough what their choices had cost them. When he finally returned home that evening, the house was quiet. A note on the kitchen counter informed him that Lisa and Megan had gone shopping for Friday. It didn't need to say his dinner waited in the microwave, carefully prepared and covered with plastic wrap. He threw it in the trash, unopened. In his office, Evan began making calls, first to his lawyer, then to his banker. Each conversation was brief, precise, laying the groundwork for what was to come. His voice remained steady as he discussed asset division and account transfers, showing no sign of the turmoil beneath the surface. "Dad?" Megan's knock on his office door came just as he finished the last call. "We brought home Chinese food. Your favorite. Not hungry." He began organizing papers into folders, each movement deliberate and controlled. "Please, come eat with us. Mom wants to talk about—" "I have nothing to say to either of you." He could hear the hurt in her sharp intake of breath, but it didn't move him. "Go help your mother plan her date. That seems to be what you're good at." The rest of the week passed in a blur of silent meals and avoided encounters. Evan watched as Lisa's excitement grew, barely concealed beneath a veneer of casual indifference. He saw how Megan fluttered around her mother, offering advice on outfits and makeup, playing the role of confidant and conspirator with growing confidence. Each observation was another brick in the wall he was building around his heart. Friday morning dawned bright and clear. Evan left for work earlier than usual, avoiding the sound of Lisa humming in the shower, a sound that had once brought a smile to his face but now made his stomach turn. Throughout the day, his phone continued to buzz with messages he didn't read. At 5 o'clock, he shut down his computer and drove home, his movements automatic, his mind already focused on what was to come. The house was alive with nervous energy when he arrived. Music drifted down from upstairs, along with the sounds of feminine laughter and conversation. He walked past Lisa's open bedroom door, catching a glimpse of Megan helping her mother with her hair. "Oh, Evan," Lisa called out, spotting him in the hallway. "I'm glad you're home. I wanted to tell you—" He kept walking, entering his office and closing the door firmly behind him. Through the wood, he could hear their muffled voices, could imagine the concerned looks they were sharing. Let them worry. Let them wonder. The sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of red that seemed appropriate for the death of a marriage. Evan sat at his desk, listening to the sounds of preparation winding down. High heels clicked on hardwood, car keys jingled. A knock at his door. "I'm leaving now." Lisa's voice was tentative but determined. "I'll be home by midnight." Evan said nothing. After a moment, he heard her footsteps retreating, followed by the sound of the front door opening and closing. More footsteps, lighter ones, Megan, hovering outside his door. "Dad, are you okay?" Still, he remained silent. Eventually, those footsteps retreated too. In the growing darkness of his office, Evan pulled out his phone and made one final call to his lawyer. Everything was ready. Tomorrow, Lisa would return home to find her world changed forever. She thought tonight was about her freedom, her chance to feel something new. She had no idea what she'd already lost. Evan leaned back in his chair, his face expressionless in the fading light. Let them have their excitement, their whispered plans, their girlish anticipation. Let them think this was just another adventure, another step toward Lisa's self-discovery. They would learn soon enough what happens when you destroy a man's trust. Tomorrow was coming, and with it, the end of everything they thought they knew. Friday arrived beneath a sky the color of burnished steel, clouds gathering at the horizon like spectators awaiting a tragedy. The Morton home stood silent in the late afternoon light, its manicured lawn and pristine exterior masking the turmoil within. Inside, the air felt charged, heavy with the weight of impending destruction. Evan sat at his mahogany desk, the surface cleared except for his laptop, legal pad, and a stack of financial documents. The mechanical pencil in his hand moved with surgical precision as he reviewed his checklist: financial, primary joint account transfers, secondary savings closure, investment portfolio division, retirement account separation, credit card cancellations pending, cash withdrawal $50,000, new, accounts established, legal, divorce papers prepared, asset documentation complete, lawyer retained, initial filing ready, property rights secured, personal apartment lease signed, essential documents gathered, new phone line established, mail forwarding arranged, private investigator report received. Each checkmark represented another thread cut from the tapestry of his marriage, methodically severed while his wife prepared for her date with another man. The digital clock on his desk shifted to 3:30 p.m. Right on cue, the distant sound of the garage door opening announced Lisa's early return from work. Her car pulled in, the engine cutting off with a finality that seemed prophetic. The house came alive with movement, footsteps on stairs, doors opening and closing, the rush of water through pipes as the shower started. Normal sounds that now felt like countdown ticks to detonation. "Mom, did you pick up the dry cleaning?" Megan's voice carried down the stairs. "The black dress is in the car," Lisa called back. "Can you grab it while I shower?" "Sure." "And Derek confirmed the reservation, right? 7:30 at LA Zone?" Evan's pencil snapped in his grip. The sound of Megan's feet on the stairs, the garage door opening and closing, more footsteps, the mundane choreography of preparation for his wife's infidelity. His phone buzzed. "Lisa, can we talk before I get ready?" He deleted the message without responding. Another buzz followed immediately. "Lisa, please, Evan, just for a few minutes. Delete." The shower stopped. Drawers opened and closed upstairs, accompanied by the muffled sounds of mother-daughter discussion. Evan pulled up his banking app, reviewing the transfers he'd arranged. Everything was in place, waiting for his final confirmation. A knock on his office door. "Dad," Megan's voice. "Can I come in? I'm working. Please, it's important." He considered ignoring her, but something in her tone, a mixture of desperation and determination, made him curious. "Fine." The door opened slowly. Megan stood in the doorway, clutching a garment bag from the dry cleaners. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, her expression a complicated mix of emotions. "I know you're angry. Angry doesn't begin to cover it. But Mom's really nervous about tonight. Maybe if you just talk to her about what—" Evan's voice was razor sharp. "About how to best humiliate me? Should I give her dating tips? Help her choose which of my favorite outfits to wear for another man? That's not fair. She's trying to be honest about her feelings. Or she could have just—" He stood, his height making Megan take a step back. "Just sneaked around behind my back? Just had an affair without telling me? Is that what you're suggesting would have been better? No, I mean, she could have left without explanation, like Mrs. Peterson did to her husband last year. Instead, she's trying to include you in—" "Include me?" Evan's laugh was harsh enough to make Megan flinch. "Is that what you call this, including me? She wants to save your marriage. She thinks if she can just understand what's missing—" "The only things missing are loyalty and respect." He turned back to his desk. "Go help your mother get ready. You seem to have a talent for facilitating betrayal. Why are you being so cruel? This isn't like you. The father you knew wouldn't have imagined his daughter could help destroy his marriage." He picked up another pencil. "Close the door on your way out." Dad, please. Get out. His voice cracked like a whip. Go back to your CO conspirator. You've made your choice clear. Megan fled the office, the garment bag rustling as she ran upstairs. Through the vents came the sound of her crying, followed by Lisa's concerned voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Dad. He's so different, so cold. Oh, honey, he's hurt. Give him time. Time for what? Megan's voice cracked. Time to hate us more? Their voices dropped lower, becoming unintelligible murmurs. Evan turned back to his computer, pulling up their investment portfolio. 20 years of careful planning and saving, now ready to be divided with a few keystrokes. What dress should I wear with these shoes? Lisa's voice drifted down again. The black one, definitely. It's more elegant than the blue. You don't think it's too much? No, it's perfect. Derek won't know what hit him. A pause, then Lisa's uncertain voice. Maybe this isn't... Don't you've been talking about this for weeks, about how Derek makes you feel seen again. Evan's fingers flew across the keyboard, initiating the first transfer. Numbers shifted, accounts drained, new balances appeared. Each transaction felt like another nail in his marriage's coffin. His phone buzzed. Lisa, I laid out your blue tie this morning, the one that matches your eyes. Delete. Lisa, remember our first date, how nervous we both were? Delete. Lisa, please don't let this be how we end. Delete. The afternoon light began to fade, shadows lengthening across his desk like reaching fingers. Upstairs, the preparation continued, hairdryer humming, closet door sliding, heels clicking on hardwood floors. Another knock on his door. Dad, Megan again. Mom wants to know if you'll have dinner before she goes. Having dinner with my wife before her date? His laugh was cold. How considerate of her to think of me. She made your favorite pasta, the recipe Grandma taught her. Using my mother's recipe before going out with another man? Perfect. Why won't you even try to understand? Mom feels trapped, like she's lost herself. Lost herself? Evan stood so quickly his chair rolled back and hit the wall. She's lost herself? What about what I've lost? My wife, my daughter, my family, all destroyed because she needs to find herself in another man's arms? That's not what this is about. She loves you, she just needs... Get out. His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. Get out before I say something I can't take back. Dad. Now. The door slammed. More crying, more footsteps, more betrayal. His phone continued its relentless buzzing. 5:45 p.m. Lisa, the necklace you gave me for our anniversary. Is it okay if I wear it? Delete. 5:50 p.m. Lisa, I remember the day you gave it to me. You said pearls were classic, timeless, like our love. Delete. 5:55 p.m. Lisa, please answer me. Delete. The sound of the shower started again, Lisa's final preparation. The scent of her perfume began to drift through the vents, the same scent she'd worn on their first date, their wedding day, countless anniversaries. Evan pulled up their credit card accounts with methodical precision. He began the cancellation process. Each card represented a shared experience, the one they'd used for family vacations, the one for household expenses, the special one for date nights. Date nights. The irony wasn't lost on him. The shower stopped, more movement upstairs. The click of heels on hardwood grew closer. How do I look? Lisa's voice, presumably to Megan. Beautiful. The pearls were the right choice. Your father gave them to me on our 15th anniversary, said they reminded him of our first trip to the beach. Mom, are you crying? No, just... Maybe I should talk to him one more time. Footsteps approached his office. A soft knock. Evan. Lisa's voice was barely above a whisper. I'm leaving now. He said nothing, staring at his computer screen as another account transfer completed. I'll be home by midnight. Maybe we can talk then, really talk. Silence. I do love you. Please remember that. The heels clicked away. The front door opened and closed. A car started in the driveway. Evan moved to the window, watching as Lisa's car backed out, the black dress, his favorite, the pearl necklace, his anniversary gift, her hair styled the way he'd always loved, all for another man. As Lisa's car disappeared down the street, Evan's phone buzzed with a message from Megan. She almost turned back twice before getting in the car. Please talk to her. With precise movements, he blocked his daughter's number, then returned to his financial arrangements. The computer screen cast a cold blue glow across his face as he worked, systematically dismantling 20 years of shared finances. Downstairs, he could hear Megan moving around the kitchen, probably preparing the dinner neither of them would eat. The occasional clink of dishes and running water provided an ironically domestic soundtrack to his destructive task. His phone lit up with Lisa's first message from the restaurant, 7:15 p.m., just arrived at LA Zone. They sat us at a corner table. Remember when we used to come here for our anniversaries? Evan's jaw clenched as he deleted the message. La Zone, their special occasion restaurant where he'd proposed, where they'd celebrated promotions, birthdays, anniversaries. Now she was there with Derek. Another knock at his door. Dad, Megan's voice trembled slightly. I made dinner. You need to eat something. Not hungry. Please. I used Grandma's recipe, just like Mom taught me. Like your mother taught you? His voice dripped with contempt. Did she teach you about loyalty too? About respect? Or did those lessons get lost between helping her pick out dresses and covering her phone calls? That's not fair. I was trying to help. Help destroy our family? Congratulations. Mission accomplished. Silence from the other side of the door, broken only by a choked sob, then footsteps retreating down the hall. His phone buzzed again. 7:30 p.m. Lisa, Derek's different tonight. He keeps talking about his other experiences with married women. Delete. 7:35 p.m. Lisa, the waiter recognized me, asked where you were. Delete. 7:40 p.m. Lisa, I can't stop thinking about our first time here. You were so nervous about proposing. Delete. Each message strengthened his resolve. Evan pulled up another banking window, initiating the next phase of his plan. Their joint investment account, the one they'd started when Megan was born, meant for her college education. On screen, his finger hovered over the transfer button. This money had been meant for their daughter's future, but daughters who betrayed their fathers didn't deserve such consideration. Click. Transfer initiated. More messages arrived. 8:00 p.m. Lisa. Derek keeps checking his phone. He seems bored. Delete. 8:05 p.m. Lisa, he just told me I'm pretty good looking for my age. Is this what I thought I wanted? Delete. 8:10 p.m. Lisa, I made a horrible mistake. Please answer me. Delete. A soft knock interrupted his work. Dad, Megan again. Mom's been texting me. She says Derek's being really weird. Shocking, Evan said. The man willing to date a married woman turns out to be less than Prince Charming. She's crying in the bathroom. She wants to come home. Then she knows the address. Why are you being like this? Megan pushed the door open, her face streaked with tears. She made a mistake. She's trying to fix it. Evan turned to face his daughter, his expression carved from stone. A mistake? Let's talk about mistakes, Megan. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is burning dinner. Plotting for weeks to betray your husband while your teenage daughter plays lookout. That's a choice. She was honest with you. She could have just what? Snuck around behind my back? Would that have been better? He stood, towering over her. Or maybe she should have included me more in her dating preparations. Should I have helped her pick out lingerie for Derek? Stop it. You're twisting everything. No, you and your mother did that just fine on your own. He turned back to his computer. Go back to your room. You've done enough damage for one lifetime. The door slammed so hard the walls shook. Evan could hear Megan's sobs as she ran to her room, but the sound barely registered through the ice in his veins. His phone rang, Lisa calling. He declined it. Messages followed rapidly. 9:00 p.m. Please pick up. I need to talk to you. 9:00 to 1 p.m. Derek's telling me about his collection of married women, like we're trophies. 9:00 to 2 p.m. I feel sick. This isn't what I wanted. 9:00 to 3 p.m. Please answer me. Please. Each message was another confirmation of his decision. While Lisa discovered the consequences of her choices, Evan continued his methodical destruction of their shared life bank accounts. Credit cards, investment portfolios, everything they'd built together over 20 years he dismantled with clinical precision. At 10 o'clock his phone rang again. Lisa's tear-filled voice filled his voicemail. Evan, please, I made a terrible mistake. Derek's not who I thought he was. He's awful. Please call me back. Please delete. More messages followed. 10:15 p.m. I'm leaving the restaurant, coming home. 10:16 p.m. Please talk to me when I get there. 10:17 p.m. We can fix this. Please. Delete, delete, delete. By 11:30, headlights swept across his office window. A car door closed quietly. The front door opened and closed with equal care. Mom, Megan's voice drifted up from downstairs. Are you okay? Not now, sweetie. Is your father still in his office? You want to talk to him? Heels clicked on the stairs, slower now, hesitant. A gentle knock on his door. Evan, I'm home. He remained silent, watching the final transfers complete on his screen. Please, can we talk? Tonight was horrible. Derek, he's not who I thought he was. He treated me like I was just another conquest, kept talking about his other married women, how we're all the same. I felt cheap and stupid. Still nothing. I made a terrible mistake. I see that now. Please, Evan, can we just talk? I'll do anything to fix this. Finally, he spoke, his voice devoid of emotion. Go to bed, Lisa. We'll talk in the morning. The sound of Lisa's heels retreated slowly, followed by the soft click of their bedroom door. Minutes later, the shower started running, trying to wash away her mistake, no doubt. Evan waited, listening as the water stopped, as drawers opened and closed, as quiet sobs drifted through the walls. Only when the house fell completely silent did he begin to move. From the back of his closet, he retrieved the suitcases he'd hidden days ago. Each one had been packed with military precision: clothes, documents, electronics, the essentials of his life, carefully curated and condensed. Everything else could be replaced. His wedding ring caught the dim light as he reached for the first bag. With deliberate movements, he twisted it off his finger and placed it on his desk. 20 years of marriage reduced to a simple gold band. Working in darkness, he carried each suitcase to his car. The night air was crisp, carrying the scent of approaching autumn. Leaves skittered across the driveway, their rustling the only sound breaking the suburban silence. Between trips, he heard movement upstairs. Megan's door opening, her quiet footsteps passing his office. "Mom," her whisper carried through the vents. "Are you awake? Come here, sweetie." Lisa's voice was thick with tears. "How was it?" "Really awful. Derek, he's not the person I thought he was. He spent the whole evening bragging about other married women he's dated, called it his collection." A choked sob. "What have I done?" "Dad will forgive you. He has to. You didn't see his eyes, Megan, the way he looked at me, at us, like we were strangers. He's just hurt. Give him time. Time won't fix this. I destroyed everything, and I dragged you into it." Their voices faded as Evan carried another bag to his car. Let them comfort each other. Let them share their regrets. It changed nothing. Back in his office, he surveyed the space one final time. 20 years of memories lined the walls. Photos of family vacations, Megan's school awards, anniversary cards declaring eternal love. All lies now. All worthless. His desk had been cleared except for 3 items: the envelope containing divorce papers, his wedding ring, and a single photo of Megan as a child, back when Daddy's girl meant something. He picked up the photo, studying it in the dim light. His daughter smiled up at him, gap-toothed and innocent, her eyes full of the trust and love he'd once taken for granted. With mechanical movements, he tore the picture in half, then quarters, letting the pieces fall into his trash bin. The wedding ring followed. Only the envelope remained. Inside, beyond the legal documents, lay a letter detailing exactly what he'd done with their assets. Monday morning, his lawyer would handle the rest. Evan touched his computer mouse, waking the screen for one final check. Joint accounts drained, credit cards canceled, investment portfolios transferred, college funds secured, new apartment ready. Everything prepared. Everything finished. He closed his laptop and unplugged it, adding it to his briefcase. The office looked stark now, stripped of anything personal, like his marriage, an empty shell. In the hallway, he paused. From the master bedroom came the sound of Lisa crying, her sobs muffled but distinct. Down the hall, Megan's television played quietly, her usual remedy for sleepless nights. For a moment, memory ambushed him. Lisa curled against him on sleepless nights. Megan crawling into their bed during thunderstorms. Family movie marathons with popcorn and laughter. He crushed the memories ruthlessly. That life was over. That family was dead. They had killed it with their betrayal. His footsteps made no sound as he walked down the stairs one last time. The house felt different now, haunted by what had been and what could never be again. Family photos lined the walls, each one a mockery of the lies they'd lived. The front door opened silently. He'd oiled the hinges yesterday, preparing for this moment. Cool night air brushed his face as he stepped outside, carrying his final bag. Movement caught his eye through Megan's bedroom window. He saw her face, illuminated by her phone screen. Their eyes met for a brief moment. He turned away without acknowledgement. The car started quietly, another detail he'd planned for. As he backed out of the driveway, he caught one last glimpse of his daughter at the window, her hand pressed against the glass. Let her watch. Let her remember this moment. Let her understand the consequences of betrayal. The street was empty as he drove away, leaving behind 2 decades of marriage and 17 years of fatherhood in his rearview mirror. The house grew smaller until it disappeared completely, taking with it the last remnants of the life he'd built. Tomorrow, Lisa and Megan would wake to find him gone. They would discover the empty accounts, read the divorce papers, understand the full price of their choices. But by then he would be beyond their reach, beyond their tears, beyond their regret. They had chosen their path. He was choosing his. And unlike his wife and daughter, He wouldn't look back. Saturday morning dawned with deceptive brightness, sunlight streaming through the windows of the Morton home as if nothing had changed. Lisa stirred in her bed, eyes gritty from tears and too little sleep. The house felt different somehow, quieter, emptier. "Evan?" Her voice echoed in the silent bedroom. The other side of the bed remained untouched, the covers still perfectly smooth. In the hallway, Megan's door opened. "Mom, is Dad up?" Lisa pulled on her robe, a knot forming in her stomach. Maybe he's in his office. But Evan's office door stood open, something he never allowed. The room beyond was stripped bare, desk cleared, walls empty, computer gone. Only an envelope remained, centered precisely on the polished wood surface. "Mom." Megan appeared behind her, voice small. "What's happening?" With trembling fingers, Lisa opened the envelope. Divorce papers slid out first, followed by a letter written in Evan's precise handwriting. "Lisa, by the time you read this, our joint accounts will be empty. The credit cards are canceled. The investment portfolio is transferred. Your choices have consequences. You wanted freedom. Now you have it. Don't bother trying to contest anything. Everything I've done is legal. My lawyer will contact you Monday." "Evan, he's gone." Megan's voice cracked. "Just like that?" Lisa sank into Evan's desk chair, her legs unable to support her. "Check the closet, his car." Megan ran downstairs. Moments later, her cry echoed through the house. "His car is gone. In the garage, all his tools." Lisa's hands shook as she pulled out her phone. She opened their banking app, entering her password with clumsy fingers. $47.52. That's all that remained in their joint checking account. The savings account showed zero. The investment account denied access. No. She tried the credit cards next. All declined. Footsteps pounded up the stairs. Megan burst back into the office, face pale. "Mom, the emergency cash is gone too, and Dad's not answering his phone." Lisa tried calling Evan's number, straight to voicemail. She tried his work phone, disconnected. His email bounced back automatically, account no longer active. "What are we going to do?" Megan's voice trembled. "All my college money." Lisa stared at the divorce papers, the words blurring before her eyes. "We'll figure something out. Maybe if I call Derek." "Derek?" Megan's voice turned hard. "After what he did to you last night? He has money. Maybe he can help until—" "Are you serious? He treated you like garbage. He bragged about collecting married women like trophies." "I know, but we need—" "No." Megan backed away from her mother. "Dad was right about you, about both of us." Lisa reached for her daughter. "Honey, please, don't—" Megan jerked away. "This is your fault. You had to go chase some stupid fantasy and now everything's ruined." The doorbell rang, startling them both. Lisa hurried downstairs, hope flaring briefly, but instead of Evan, she found their next-door neighbor, Susan, on the porch. "Lisa, I saw Evan leaving late last night with suitcases. Is everything okay?" The concern in Susan's voice made Lisa's cheeks burn. How many other neighbors had seen? How many were already gossiping? "Everything's fine," she managed. "Just a business trip." Susan's skeptical look said she didn't believe it. "Well, if you need anything, thank you." Lisa closed the door quickly, leaning against it as her phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Last night was fun, but let's not do it again. I prefer my married women a little younger, no offense." The phone slipped from her numb fingers, clattering on the hardwood floor. Upstairs, she could hear Megan crying. Monday arrived with brutal efficiency. Lisa's phone rang at exactly 9:00 a.m. "Mrs. Morton, this is James Warner from Warner & Associates. I'm handling your husband's divorce filing." Lisa gripped the phone tighter. There must be some mistake. If I could just talk to Evan. "Mr. Morton has made it clear all communication should go through our office." The lawyer's voice was professionally detached. "The preliminary hearing is scheduled for next week. Given the circumstances, Mr. Morton is seeking an expedited process." "The circumstances?" "Your admitted intention to engage in extramarital affairs, Mrs. Morton, along with your daughter's testimony about helping you arrange these encounters." Lisa's blood ran cold. "Testimony? Mr. Morton has provided detailed documentation of your actions, including text messages between you and your daughter discussing your plans. Those were on a family plan he paid for, Mrs. Morton, perfectly legal to access." A pause. "I should warn you that Mr. Morton has already secured the majority of your marital assets. Given your actions and the documentation we have, contesting this would be inadvisable." The lawyer's words blurred into a bureaucratic nightmare of terms like at-fault divorce and alienation of affection. When the call ended, Lisa sat in stunned silence until Megan's voice broke through. "Mom, the credit card was declined at the grocery store, and the power company called about the bill." Reality crashed in. No access to accounts, no credit cards, no savings. And her own salary. Lisa logged into her work email, only to find a message from her supervisor requesting an urgent meeting to discuss recent developments. By evening, she'd lost her job too. Morality clause, her supervisor explained uncomfortably. Once the divorce filing became public record, we have a reputation to maintain. I've worked here for 15 years, Lisa protested. And we've appreciated your service, but given the circumstances... She left with a cardboard box of personal items and 2 weeks severance pay. It wouldn't cover even 1 month's mortgage. Weeks passed in a blur of mounting bills and declining bank balances. Lisa tried reaching out to Derek repeatedly, but his number had been blocked. Her emails bounced back. He'd vanished as completely as her previous life. Megan grew more distant each day. The teenager who had once eagerly helped her mother prepare for a date now barely spoke to her. I got accepted to State University, Megan announced one morning, sliding an envelope across the kitchen table. That's wonderful. Lisa reached for the acceptance letter. But honey, with the college fund gone... I know. Megan's voice was flat. Sarah offered to help. She said I could live with her, get a part-time job. Live with her? But that's 3 states away. Better than watching you check your phone every 5 minutes, hoping Derek will call. Megan stood up. We're pretending we're not about to lose the house. We're not going to lose. Lisa stopped. The mortgage was 3 months behind. The electricity would be shut off next week unless they could pay. You're still acting like this is all just temporary, like Dad's going to forgive us and come home. He might. If we could just explain... Explain what? Megan's voice cracked. How I helped my mother cheat on my father? How I played lookout while you called your boyfriend? How I helped pick out the dress you wore to betray him? It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. And now everything's gone, Dad. My college fund. Our home. Tears streamed down Megan's face. I'm calling Aunt Sarah tonight. I can't stay here anymore. Megan left for her aunt's house the following week, carrying 2 suitcases and years of shattered trust. At the bus station, Lisa made one last attempt to reach her daughter. Please don't go. We can figure this out together. Together? Megan's laugh was hollow. Like how we figured out which dress would impress Derek, or how we planned the perfect date to destroy Dad's life. I never meant... Save it. Megan stepped back. You know what the worst part is? Dad was right about everything. About you, about me, about how badly we betrayed him. She picked up her bags. I can't even blame him for hating us. He doesn't hate you. He's your father. Not anymore. He made that pretty clear. 3 days earlier, Megan had made one final attempt to contact Evan, going to his office building. The security guard had stopped her in the lobby. I'm sorry, Miss Morton, you're on the restricted list. No access permitted. But he's my father. Please, just tell him I'm here. Mr. Morton left explicit instructions. No contact with you or your mother. She tried writing a letter instead. Dad, I know what we did was unforgivable, but please just talk to me. I'm your daughter. I love you. Megan. The letter came back unopened, stamped return to sender. Now, watching her daughter board the bus, Lisa felt the last pieces of her world crumbling. She'd lost everything. Husband, daughter, job, home, reputation. The final eviction notice arrived a week later. Lisa stood in the empty house, surrounded by boxes of what little remained of her life. Most of their belongings had been sold to cover basic expenses. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. For a moment, hope flared. Evan? Derek? Instead, it was a message from a former colleague. Heard Evan's company promoted him. He's dating some junior executive. Thought you should know. Lisa sank to the floor, her legs giving out. She'd driven past his office building countless times, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. She'd sent emails, letters, messages through mutual friends. Each attempt met the same stone wall of silence. The few friends who still spoke to her reported that Evan had moved on completely. He'd bought a luxury apartment downtown, joined an exclusive gym, started mentoring young executives. His life was flourishing, while hers lay in ruins. He won't even say your names, one friend admitted reluctantly. Someone mentioned Megan at a company party, and he just walked away. It's like you both ceased to exist. Lisa's phone buzzed again. The realtor. Movers will be there at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Make sure all personal items are cleared out. She looked around the empty living room. 20 years of memories echoed in the bare walls. Family photos had left lighter squares on the fading wallpaper. Ghost images of happier times. Upstairs, she paused in Megan's doorway. The room was stripped bare, except for a few posters her daughter hadn't wanted. In the master bedroom, her closet gaped empty, designer clothes and shoes sold for pennies on the dollar to cover utility bills. Her phone rang, Sarah's number. Megan settled in, Sarah reported without preamble. She's got a job interview at the mall next week. Can I talk to her? A pause. She doesn't want to, Lisa. She says she needs space to process everything. She's my daughter. And you used her to help destroy her father's trust. Give her time. How much time? Lisa's voice cracked. Evan's never coming back. I've lost my job, my home. I can't lose Megan too. You should have thought about that before dragging her into your mess. Sarah's voice hardened. Megan needs stability right now. She needs to focus on school, on building a future. She can't do that while watching you self-destruct. The call ended, leaving Lisa alone in the echoing house. Tomorrow, she'd move into a studio apartment in the rough part of town, all she could afford on her new salary as a retail clerk. Her phone held one last surprise. An email from Derek, probably drunk, sent at 2 a.m. Hey babe, heard things got rough. That's why I don't usually go for married chicks. Too much drama. But thanks for the fun night. You were number 12 in my collection. Take care. Lisa deleted the email with trembling fingers. In the growing darkness, she sank down against the wall, surrounded by the wreckage of her choices. Somewhere across town, Evan sat in his new apartment, reviewing contracts for tomorrow's meeting. His phone buzzed, a message from his new girlfriend about their dinner reservations. He smiled slightly as he confirmed the time. The smile didn't reach his eyes, but that didn't matter. Nothing reached his eyes anymore. The man who had loved Lisa and Megan was gone, replaced by someone harder, colder, unreachable. Let Lisa lose everything. Let Megan learn the price of betrayal. Let them cry and regret and beg for forgiveness. Evan had chosen his path, a path without wife or daughter, without warmth or forgiveness, a path where trust, once broken, stayed broken forever. In the empty house, Lisa sat alone in the darkness, holding her worthless pearl necklace, her last reminder of the life she'd destroyed. Tomorrow would bring more struggles, more loneliness, more consequences, but tonight she sat in silence, haunted by the ghosts of what she'd lost. In her mind, Evan's words echoed with terrible finality. You wanted freedom. Now you have it.